Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody's having a good night. It's always hope everybody's having a good life where you may be. Give me a there we go. But say give me an audio check there, Cora, and then you coughed.
Yeah, you're good. We
Coughed.
have audio.
That's good. That's good. All right. So today we're gonna be reacting to a couple new shows coming out, and quite a bit of them. I would say all of them are considered anime, right? Like
I would say, yeah.
even though they were not made in Japan, they were drawn by animators and those who work in anime studios, or at least
Well,
do artwork for anime studios.
we've had this conversation before. I don't think anime is limited to a country. I think it's more of a style.
Yeah. Um, and I would say that's what I think of it. So when I say anime, it's gonna be primarily anime. Now we're gonna talk about all of anime. We're gonna find out. After this, I got a Pathfinder session. The guys wanted me. You do well know. Guy wants me to play D&D, but
Yeah.
they're working on a Pathfinder campaign, which is the same in some regard. Do you know what the difference is, other than
I,
the
th-
world?
I think some of the I think it's not just the world, but I think some of the more advanced rules are a little different in a Pathfinder quest than there is in a basic D&D campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that's going to be left up to your DM as to how different it's going to be.
Yeah. So like when I was first told, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be playing D&D with them. I'm like, okay, I know D&D only because I watch a lot of D&D streamers. There's a lot of them out there, by the way. That like
Oh yeah,
this plenty of people saw the critical roles fame and fortune, and now they're like a multi-billion million dollar company with deals with D&D themselves. So everybody jumped on that bandwagon, which is honestly not a bad idea. um okay, for those who are
I
on Grumpy Bear, I'm gonna be ending here going through the Bear thoughts. I did realize that I'm on Grumpy Bear right now, so ending it there real quick. Move myself over to my Bear Thought podcast channel of my Twitch. But anyways, so they want to try they want to do Pathfinder, and I'm like, okay, I don't know very much anything about Pathfinder, so this is gonna be a new experience altogether, but it's still D&D,
it
and
should be fun.
yeah,
It
shit.
should be fun.
He wants you to play a role that's practically the Avatar, but I want to be a shaman. So similarities. I'm hoping we can make it, because yeah, like one is I throw airbender around, the other one is I take elements from my into my hands and then put them into my weapons and then smack you with it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So I'm hoping there's a book that just came out today. Apparently they're just as bad as D&D when it comes to let's throw out a new book every quarter of the year and make you spend a lot of money on these books to keep you updated on the rules and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, and character being more
Right.
balanced or unbalanced depending on what you are. It's really like it's expensive to be a D&D player.
No, it ain't cheap. I mean, Lambino, you've seen him pop into my stream sometimes. He's not he's not really he does some D&D, but he's like he goes to a game shop
Mm-hmm.
and they have their tournaments and games and sessions and stuff, and he's seen D&D. He's really playing more Warhammer right now
Yeah.
than anything, but he's
Ooh,
like, dude, it is
Warhammer.
expensive. Yeah.
Oh, that's a deep
He's like,
pocket.
it's expensive to play Warhammer. It's expensive to play D&D because I mean, you need models, better models, beefier models
Mm-hmm.
to make your armies beefier or your character, your skill level beefier. He's like, you're always having to read and figure out what's in this new group, in this new campaign, this new group's added. What can they do? Can they destroy me? Blah 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 blah. He's like, it's not cheap.
No, it is not cheap. I finally found the model. And it's what makes it even worse is just they constantly change the rules and what you can and can't use in certain campaigns or certain things. So you have to keep on buying those new things. just so you can play the game if you want to be, as they call it, I believe, tournament legal.
Right.
Which I think is like for us, for me and you especially, 3D model printers, people that like 3D printing our own stuff, you're not allowed to do that in Warhammer, like at all. And if you do, it has to be like they're cleared and what's the word for it? Like they have to give like their approval and a stamp on it and gets the cut of the money from the models for you to be able to print it and
I
use
kind
it.
of I kind of been thinking about trying to come up with it's been an off and on thing, but kind of like my own version of a game, kind of like that. And but I've never really done anything with it. I've had a couple ideas, but never wrote anything down, never developed anything. Look at him. He's putting it in there.
Yes, I am. Okay, so speaking of making your own thing, I'm gonna give you a scenario, and before we get into the thing, this is my book I'm working on, and I only have one scenario so far, and this is how the name of the manga is A Dream of an Isekai, and you know what isekais are, so I don't need to
Yep.
explain that. The main protagonist is Kane. Kane is the main character of the manga. And okay, so the premise of the show is, and I might have told you before, a guy is down and trout. His life is not going anywhere. His mom wants him to better himself his life, but his stepdad don't think he's to make anything of himself. His boss is always belittling him and not trusting in any of his ideas. But then his stepson that works there as well is taking Kane's ideas and making them as if they're his own. His girlfriend cheats on him and breaks up with him on the night of the incident. And he goes home and he goes to sleep and he wakes up in a isekai world or another world. He sees fantasy, he sees magic, he sees all these things, and he goes throughout this day. And I haven't written this down, but there's an incident that happens between him this day and then going back to sleep. So he ends the day and he goes back to sleep, and he wakes up back in the human world again. So now he's trying to figure out if that was a real world, and if it was, how to get there, if he died or not, if that's his world he's going to be when he does die, and how does he get there and stay there. And an incident happens where Kane shows up in this fantasy world. He's ecstatic, livid, because he's going to be living in his fantasy world, and he gets attacked by what he's assuming is a normal goblin. Standard meal of a fantasy, right?
Right.
Goblins, a slime, stuff like that. Find out the goblins aren't these cute, easy creatures to kill. They're very, very clever, and they want to bait you into chasing them and killing them, so they get you in traps and ambush you. Well, he runs away after he realizes he is not up for them. And he gets saved by 3 adventurers. I already have their names written down and their some of their backstories, but I need to like actually write down writing all of it. By 3 adventurers: a rogue girl, a mage, and a warrior tank like dude. Well, they save him and say, "Hey, we can't get back to the normal town just yet. We're on an adventure. We can't go back until we complete our quest. If you just come with us, team up with us, we'll keep you safe, and we'll get you to the inn or to a safe space once we're done all of the day." Well, they go out into the adventure. They get attacked a couple times, and the girl along the way is getting a little frisky with him, little hands-on and little warming up to him. And Kane is loving it, having a good old time because he's seeing all this magics and sorceries and neat tricks happening. And in the night, they're going, "Okay, we're not done. Let's camp out." Well, they camp out and they go, "All right, 2 of us go to sleep, 2 of us can stay awake." Kane volunteers to stay awake with the wizard. The girl and the warrior go to bed. Of course, the girl on the way to bed gives a nice little wave and heads on in. Well, a few minutes later, Kane and the warrior are talking. Kane has to take a piss, so he goes beside the tent to go use the restroom. But he hears in the tent a little bit of a groaning, a little bit of moaning. And he starts to wonder what's going on inside the tent. But then he starts hearing someone slightly screaming for help, gurgling as if something's bad's happening, and a lot of commotion going on in the tent. So he runs inside and he sees the girl mounting the guy as if they were in the middle of something, and she's brandishing a knife, stabbing him repeatedly in the chest. So Kane goes over there, runs into her, grabs her hand to stop her from stabbing the guy. Notices he's bleeding out, and she is smiling from ear to ear, but tears are running down her eyes. So Kane freaks out and starts running away. But in tow is the girl with two daggers trying to stab at him. He gets out of the tent, falls down, and he looks up for but a moment and he sees a bird creature in the tree looking down straight at the girl with a smile on his face, humanoid head, and a raven body. Daggers at the girl. And the wizard asks what's going on and sees Kane staring up at this creature, and it goes after the bird. While Kane is now fighting off the rogue trying to stab him.
Right.
The wizard finally kills the bird creature. But the moment that does, the girl falls to her face. And the wizard comes back and tells him, put the guy in a bag of holding, which is normally a magic bag that holds a lot of stuff. Put his body inside of it, pick up the girl, and run. And Kay's like, what happened? What's going on? Why'd you try to just kill me? It's like, if you don't want to die, grab her, put him in a bag, and run. Because every monster around us just heard what just happened here, and they're on their way. And so, sure enough, they're on their way. You can hear them all like almost a stampede, all trying to get to wherever the sounds are going on, where Kane and them were. And he comes to find out, once they get out of the commotion, out of the things, that they were using Kane to try to make him happy, because the creature from which was controlling the girl, what it does is it mind controls the happiest person in the group, or it sees, because it wants to turn the person's happiest of moments into the most deepest of nightmares. So he just took control of the girl because her and that guy were lovers. And they were trying to turn Kane into the happiest one. So if they knew if the bird controlled him, it would be a problem. He's a nobody. He got nothing going for him. You can tell he's weak. They can take his ass out if they need to, but they'll still get the bird. So that was the first interaction for which Kane has to deal with in the new Isekai world. And then he has to wonder, is this world really worth it?
That's pretty good.
So yeah, that's
pretty good.
That's my first story. I already had the bird drawn out. I drew it on the last podcast, or not podcast, stream. And I have 3 more creatures. I have a creature that will steal anything from you, does not matter what it is. If you drop it, you lose it, it will steal it and run. And a creature that can control you with sweet lies with its honey it produces. So
interesting.
You know, you ever heard the expression, it's better to be told poison from your friends, or the truth of poison from your friends, than the sweet honey lies of your enemies?
Yeah.
That's the expression. The creature will tell you lies to try to get you killed or mislead you with this honey, but you don't know it because it's sweet. You think it tastes good. It's telling you lies in your head to try to get you killed, because the creature is still out there and it's controlling you with this honey.
Damn.
So the only way to get it written, the only way to beat it is with poison. So that's something Kane's had to deal with, to try to figure out, like, what kind of poison, how did he counteract it, how did he stop it, where's the information at? This world's all about information and knowing the correct one. Like, you got to make sure you know what it is. If you don't know, you're pretty much dead. And I thought that would be a good story. So I'm trying to write on it, but I'm not.
It's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then of course he has to figure out, like, is this world, like, hey, do I stay here? Do I want to stay here? Is this better than the last world? My last world's pretty shitty, but oof, that first interaction is not going to be coming off without a sting.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so the print model is on your way. I don't think I have a name, but it's just bleach mask.
It's here. It's here. It's
Okay.
called Bleach Mask. The only question I have is, inside of here, there's 3 folders.
Yeah, there's like different sizes or different like resolutions. I don't know what that really means.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Southie!
Mm. So, I have a wonderful divergent tangent for you guys when I
Tangent?
get back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's just something that I was watching and then I thought about it. It'll be an interesting topic for about maybe 5 minutes, but it'll be entertaining.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So,
What you got?
this is gonna be the first one we're gonna add to, and we'll probably, traverse from there. Now this is gonna be Incredible Season 2. Now, this when it first came out, I did not watch this one immediately. Did you watch Incredibles when it
I
first
did.
came
I
out?
watched it. I watched it as soon as it came out, and I have to say, the ending of the first season was kind of brutal.
Yeah, like I was hesitant. I won't lie. I was hesitant, and I don't know why I was hesitant. I just didn't for some reason just believe that this would be good, and I was totally wrong. It was wonderful. It was great. And it outperformed. Why can I not? It's just. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix the resolution of the size of it, not the size of it. The place where it's cropping at, and all he's doing is just expanding, and I'm pressing shift, but nothing's happening. All right, well, it's gonna be a little tiny corner missing on your side for some reason. I don't know why, but it just is. It's not gonna mess anything up. So, okay. If anybody has not watched season 1, do not think this is a kid show. This is not a kid show. Let's say people die within the first, I would say 5 minutes, if that, of the show.
Brutal. It gets brutal.
This is something that if they were ever do a live action of, it's gonna cost a lot of money. Because there's just so much stuff going on there. So that's what pretty much it did did this in animated form. And of course, there is an actual manga of this if you might actually want to go and read all of it. I have not because I want to watch the anime. And the premise of the show is pretty much Daddy is bad. That I don't know. What other way can I say without spoiling things?
Daddy was a double agent.
Yes,
An
double agent.
evil double agent with superpowers.
Yeah, double agent is definitely probably the better word. And he is not your friend, no matter who you are. And he wants his son to be like him. All right, so let's check this out.
All right.
For some of you,
You hear it?
probably seemed like this day would never come. Maybe you're even wondering if you're ready for this. For what comes next.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
I didn't know who he was.
I don't fight friends because I would win.
Never apologize for saving lives.
Okay, so I guess the son is becoming a full-fledged hero now. It's not going to be like, hey, I'm worried about school anymore. I'm just full-fledged hero trying to stop where villains are coming about. And I talked about not knowing the father.
Listen, you got to understand, this kid was traumatized at the end of the first season.
Oh yeah, because he's literally, his body was used as a battering ram to kill people.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you use my body to kill somebody with it, and I'm not dead, I might feel a couple things.
Yeah.
So okay. It's not very much going to what the season is going to be very much about, like in full details. The artwork, that's something I'd say, but the artwork doesn't really have that full-fledged anime style to it. It definitely has a little bit more modern day, you might say, like Justice League or Batman, the newer kind of Batman styling to it, but it has that kind of flair of anime. But like, you see this kind of stuff, the colorful things, you go, oh, it's a cartoon. It's all sweet and dandy.
No.
No, it's hidden. It's hidden.
There's only one way this kid goes back out there. and that's on a very short leash.
I'm just happy helping people.
You know people try to kill us every single day. Right?
I've already seen real quick. I've already seen like a little snippet of fighting with this girl right here.
Yeah, Adam Eve.
Holy wow. Like, make a girl look like a complete badass. I am not even kidding. This chick is awesome. Like, she was just doing some things. I was like, the fight scenes are, well, they're gonna have to be good. It's a show about fighting evil, bad people, people that want to kill other people and kill you. So you're gonna be a little bit more, but it's not like one of those animation where like somebody doing a punch and there's a still frame and then you just see a bunch of like wind effects going by them and other, like still frame, actions, or you see someone punching, next frame it hits a person and they go, they fly off a little bit, or like, flash of lights or whatever, that kind of cheap animation. It's full-fledged body movement. And I appreciate artwork where it's showing the full-fledged of what's going on in each scene.
Yep.
And
every single day, right?
I saw like a snippet of it because I didn't know what it was, and I realized it was her.
Maybe if you trained more and complained less, we could get back to saving lives.
Make him pay for what he did to your world.
I guess there's a lot of famous actors. I don't recognize any of these names.
I am a normal human superhero.
But I would like to be a voice actor someday. Maybe my name would be up there.
Viltrumite against Viltrumite. That has not happened since the Great Purge.
The Great Purge.
You should have died at birth.
Woo! That was Daddy. Damn, that's brutal. Damn. Daddy's like, you know what? You're my son to think, boy, to you should have died at birth. Wow. Like he is loyal to his cause and his people.
His cause, yeah.
I am Lord forgive. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The season's already started, I believe. That's where I saw the one clip from it. And again, they just make her look so good, but I'm more interested in the entire story, what's going on, and I'm doubting they're gonna get to a conclusion this season. I don't see them going, you know what? Daddy's dying this season, everything's be over, everybody clap, and we're gonna be done. Like, no, that's gonna be probably like 3 or 4 seasons long of this.
Listen, the man is essentially Superman with a very bad fucking attitude.
Yes.
Okay. You don't just take something like that down in no time.
He's like Superman with a bad attitude that was trained underneath the Spartan program, killing his own people.
There you go.
Like, you imagine being trained from birth and then getting strong and then having to kill your own people that is as strong as you and having to outsmart them, kill them, and then going, all right, you lived, now go to this planet and become my conqueror. Yes, Daddy.
Pretty much.
Like, I want to know who's the one like above him. Like, I
don't know if we want to see that person.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm like this.
I mean, he pummeled his kid. He damn near killed him. He used his child's body to kill people.
Not exaggeration.
Not just, oh, I'm going to take you by your feet and make you hit this person. No, I'm going to hit this person with your body so hard that they splatter.
I'm going to take your head and I'm going to run you through a train where we just run through a train of people. It's brutal. It's not a kid's show. So if you want to step out of this whole kids are for cartoons or cartoons are for kids, this is the show to do it on, to realize it ain't like that no more. We're not in 1999 no more. This isn't your Ninja Turtles, your Batman, your Superman, Justice League, Pokemon. This is your mommy and daddy's TV show.
Kill or be killed.
Pretty much. And I think a lot more shows should be written like this, because it's taking a lot of risks, but it's getting out of the comfort zone and showing what you can be done with cartoons. Much more than just anything else can be done out there that with the budget. All right, Stealthy, what you got for us?
So,
Come close to the mic so we can not hear you like cutting in and out.
okay. I could have just leaned up,
Yeah, that worked too.
So, I was watching a video, and it's about sugar babies and sugar daddies.
Okay.
And I noticed something interesting while I'm watching the video.
boy.
The fact that sugar daddies or, the sugar babies tend to have a very big age gap.
Yes.
And they're always taken care of.
Mhm.
Would that make you my sugar daddy?
Buffy, stop, stop, stop! God damn it!
Yo.
I mean, you did say you take care of me. I never have to work a day of my life if I didn't.
Yeah,
want to.
and you do. There is a age gap that most people would be like, yo,
Hey,
yo. Well, but then again, my wife the other day, she was like, "We're talking about some."
in my defense, chat. In my defense. The original pursuer of this whole relationship is the sugar baby, okay?
What up, AJ? By the way,
Hold on, while I ask Superman to lift the bus up off of my ass so I can come back to life.
yeah.
Damn.
It's like, okay, so we were actually talking about this very topic yesterday because we were trying to make the age for the girl and the guy is significantly older than the girl, and I'm like, what does most girls do? Except for my wife, date up in age. It's not unheard of. Because I made her 19 and he's almost 30. I'm like, it happens all the time. Girls will always date older men.
Well, in our defense,
In fairness.
most of the time, notice what I'm saying here. Most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
the older gentlemen are more mature than the younger ones.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. So
And this one, ironically, was not as mature as I thought he'd be.
it made for a good
Give
time.
me your wallet, man.
Where's those credit cards? What you gotta cancel? So yeah, I'm okay with where girls dating upwards in age. That's fine.
Did we freeze or you just
I clicked on the wrong thing, so I gotta click on back on this, I think, or I hope we didn't freeze.
hang on? No, we're still moving on the.
Okay, yeah, we are. I just have myself frozen too. Anyways, that's me listening to us stealthy laughing, cackling in the background. Okay, so okay.
Damn.
Let's
roll me out.
Doing, sugar daddy?
Let's watch the next one. Now this right here.
All right, here's this next one. The next one, this is one I'm interested in.
Mhm.
This is the one that is a spinoff of the original Castlevania one they did recently, or not the original Castlevania, but the one they did recently. This is a spinoff of it. My understanding is supposed to be a little bit more forward in the timeline, past Trevor's time.
Mhm.
So
And
I'm very interested.
And this was in France.
It's either France or it's somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Definitely interesting whip. Still have vampires going on. That looks like a woman.
Little boy Belmont.
Belmont.
Mom
Okay.
took someone from me I loved.
Oh.
I could kill you too. And I will. One day.
Okay. So that's why Mama. Avatar? Sorcery?
Victor Belmont, I know how much pain is in your soul. How much sadness and loss. This so-called revolution
Okay,
It's an
those
abomination.
flags. Those flags should give us a hint where this is
I
at.
think it's France.
Yeah.
That looks French. Yep. French
Okay.
Revolution.
All right, and then of course Belmont's mother gets killed by the vampire, so it needs to be a revenge story.
It's an abomination. But the days of this abomination will soon be over.
Before the moon is full, the vampire messiah will come. The devourer of light who will eat the sun.
She won't want simply to crush the revolution. She will want to drain it slowly of blood before she grinds its bones to dust.
Yeah, again, another TV show that's not meant for kids.
Yeah. I mean, heads being decapitated by whips and
blood
various other
splats and
means.
yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a probably, let's be real here, probably a scene that's gonna be a little bit more, sensual. There's gonna be in this because the last one had it, and it looks like this one's gonna be a female villain, a queen, you might say. I am interested to see. I've not played this game, so Dracula I know. This one I do not. Yeah, a lot of violence. A Belmont that knows sorcery?
Most of them knew some part of sorcery.
Wait. Was that all? That's all vampires. Wow, that's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that,
and remember, after Trevor's story, his descendants, everybody after Trevor had his bloodline, which was the Belmont bloodline, and
true.
the girl's true bloodline. So that would have bred sorcery into the Belmont.
That's very true. So okay, so this Belmont might be a hybrid, and might know both of the skill. Of course, be a Belmont, like just be good at martial arts and the whip, right? Like it's not, you don't even need to be really bred in that unless you just train in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're trained in it, but they're even back then, Belmonts were trained in certain types of protective magic and stuff too that were acceptable by the church.
Okay.
Okay, so then you add Homegirl's abilities to that mix, and not to mention, lest we forget, well, the original Belmont was Dracul.
True.
I mean, you're just dumping a whole lot of helping of power from a bunch of different worlds into a single little container and saying, "Okay, now go get them."
Second boy. Like I think that's all like a bunch of vampires blocking out the sun themselves. All right, I am looking forward to this. Last season, the movie was great, the season was great, and this would be technically would be third season if you want to be technical, because the movie was.
If you want to count it not as a spinoff but as a season, yeah, it would technically be the third season.
Yeah, because like the movie, which was split up in 4 pieces, was in my opinion season 1. Season 2 was the conclusion of that. And then now this, but go watch it. It's all on Netflix. I think this, or you can find other ways of watching it. I'm not telling you what to do. But I think it's definitely worth it. I think it was enjoyable. I was so happy that I took time to watch that series. It has a lot of very fun things about it that I really, really enjoyed. And of course, it's just a good story overall. You can't really.
It's the thing is like you're at a point with Castlevania where in reality you have 2 storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have the original Castlevania storyline where Dracula wasn't a Belmont, and he was an evil little asshole that started this shit by taking somebody's woman. And then you have the more recent storyline of where Gabriel Gabriel Belmont became Dracula through the process of saving the world. Fortunately, that was his reward.
Yeah.
And then you have the anime, which goes back to a more classic notion of Dracula finding a human female that he falls in love with, and he chills out and settles down until he comes home and they've burned her as a witch because she was making medicine out of herbs.
Yeah.
And then he freaks the hell out.
I forget. Did they? I know in like season 2 they touched on that story where he became Dracula, but like, did they ever do a season with him that's just Dracula, like his upcoming? Like, I kind of wish they would do a prequel.
No, they didn't do prior to Alucard's mother. They only did from the moment she was burnt on. But my understanding of the story is he met her, he fell for her. He chilled out, and instead of living in the castle, they were living in the cottage and trying to do a normal life. He went off for some reason. I don't remember what it was. He had some business to attend to. And while he was gone, a bunch of people got sick. She treated them, but they said it was an uncurable illness. It had to be witchcraft, and they burnt her alive at the stake as a witch, and then he lost his shit.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be. There's a lot of stories they could easily do because there's a lot of games of Castlevania, and of course, if they wanted to do prequels, are always very much welcome. I would like to more stories about the white vampire, the white hair vampire. What's his name again? Because I know he had like a whole game by himself. Dracula's son.
Oh, you mean Alucard?
Yeah, Alucard. Like he has a whole story. Like
I would like for them to go back and do Lament of Innocence as a series. Because I enjoyed that, because that has to do with more. That storyline follows more of the what were they called? The ones that made monsters for him. The hell were they called? My brain is drawing a blank.
I have no idea, my man. I'm not good with names.
There was only 2 of them.
Yeah.
And one of them used a hammer and one of them used a knife. The one that they focused on with the hammer was the main character in Lament of Innocence.
Yeah.
Because they took his beloved and he had to go through Dracula's castle, even though Dracula wasn't in control of it anymore. Somebody else was.
Yeah.
To try to get her back.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of good stories, and all you gotta do is just take that story and then draw it out.
He was a forge master. That's what it was.
Yeah,
he was a forge master because he forged demons from whatever they brought him.
Yeah. I believe there's a lot of stories, and all you need to do is just take the story and then just don't rewrite it. Don't modify it. Just put it out there. People will watch it. People will buy it. All right. So, last one I have. This is the one I was talking to Corvo at the beginning of this one. This one right here, I think a lot of people might be interested in this. Not because of its art style, but of its premise. I think it's going to be more of a slash comedy because of the idea of this anime. And I'll let the trailer speak for itself. I'm going to be definitely checking this out, even though I am not a zombie watcher. Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. The name alone sounds like just funny. I don't know why. Bucket List of the Dead. Okay. The animation looks just split in two. Like, you definitely have to put some work behind this. He's so happy and like, look at his smile. The world's going to shit. He's smiling from ear to ear.
Well, I mean, because he no longer has to follow rules at that point. I mean, who's going to hold him accountable?
Yeah. So he worked. Okay, this guy. We'll give you more of a deep dive in this one. This guy is bored of his day-to-day life. He's not really satisfied. It feels like the same thing over and over and over again. The girl he saw that right there, he was eyeballing, is the girl he falls in love with. And on one of the days that the zombie apocalypse is, or the zombie virus is getting out there, he invites the girl to come over to his house because apparently she was in danger and trouble or whatnot. And he goes and confesses his love to her. Just as he's confessing her love to her, she turns to a zombie and starts attacking him. And the more he's running away from the zombies and trying to survive, the more he's finding himself happier and happier because his life is finally like moving. There's some difference to it. There's some changes. There's something about it. He just feels alive. So he goes on a bucket list to try to do some things while everybody else is dying that he's never done before. All while trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. It seems like a hoot of a time. And they're not just slow zombies. They're the fast-moving, 30 miles per hour zombies. Yeah, we all watch Zombie of the Dead, right? They're normally always very slow, and which would be realistic. Yeah. But
these are World War Z zombies. Yeah, they just had the ability to run full out.
So I'm all for this. And of course, it's to be a little gory, but I feel like this is something about Japanese writing. They have just a great way of taking something that we normally take for granted and just go, let's put a little twist on it. And I think it's to be, like, if you watched Zombieland, right?
Yeah.
1 and 2?
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those kind of shows that if you like Zombieland, you'll probably like this. Just because it has a bit of humor to it. Bad timing, I guess you would say. He confesses love to his girl, and he's all like, "Oh, she looks so happy that I confessed my love to her." No, she's just happy because she wants to eat you. Yeah, she's out there to kill you, and going this normal day-to-day life, boring and same old to this. Well, if you like the idea of a zombie world and killing all of them, I guess you have a lot of fun doing it. I know a lot of people out there are always like, man, if zombies came out, I would be able to survive. I got all the bullets you could ever need. Me, I'm thinking, I don't know if you got enough bullets. I think you need more bullets. And this is Japan, so there's no bullets there to be had.
Oh, no, they're there. You just don't know where they are.
Yeah, military bases. So, yeah, I will watch this. I hope it's good. I hope it's funny. I think it's going to be a little bit more, like, it has a serious side, but it's going to be serious in the fact of survival, but it's going to be comedic because of him. I think it'd be funny in that way. So, out of those three, which one are you looking forward to for the most? I think I know, but...
You know which one it is. I have a thing for whips.
I know, Castlevania. Will you be, so I know a lot of people right now are not subscribed to Netflix. Are you subscribed to Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, I'm about to say, that would be a reason why you keep on getting subscribed to Netflix, is just to watch that show, right?
Pretty much. I mean, there's a few other things that come on occasionally, and I don't want to have to go through the trouble to pull them down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just easier that way.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I am subscribed to Netflix.
Yeah, but it's just easier
I also have Crunchyroll, Disney Plus.
You got
a big ass NAS.
Yeah. I will be probably watching this for sure. It'll probably show up hopefully on Crunchyroll, so I can watch it as well. Or if not, I'll just find the manga and maybe get, because digital manga is pretty cheap nowadays. Physical manga is still the same price, but digital manga is pretty cheap. So I could probably, swing a couple dollars that way. I'm going to be looking forward to probably The Incredibles, just because the fact that it had such a... It had a lot of impact.
It's gonna be good. I think that would be my number 2 pick.
Yeah, it had a lot of
I mean,
impact on me.
I'm just you know what I mean. I'll watch probably all of them, but hands down, it'll be Castlevania. I worry about the first.
I think it's really weird because some people like might say, you know, Incredibles is more of a comic, and it's like, yeah, it's a comic because it came from a comic, but I feel like it's more drawn in anime style ish way. But I'm looking forward to all of it. I have a lot of animes right now I'm watching, as you well know. All up here, you see all my tabs. All these are anime. So, of course, also One Piece, which I'm getting back into. Heavily just to try to see why everybody loves this, because like, apparently just so recently the One Piece character, like, it's not even about like pirates or about fighting One Piece anymore. Nowadays it's just pretty much about magic, because One Piece character Luffy is pretty much a god now. He's pretty much a god. So I'm like, yeah, this is where I thought One Piece would go. Went from pirates and people with devil fruits to I'm a god now. All right. That makes a lot of sense. That's why you keep on going to episode 1010. All right, so last thing, and we're gonna have a probably conversation about this a bit more. Kayaks, because I know I said that we were not things to talk about. All right, kayaks. As you may not know, me and my wife went kayaking about, let's say, probably a little bit over a week ago now. Floating down the river. And let me just start off for the beginning that I did not have fun beginning. I stubbed my toe, which ripped off the toenail. I lost my glasses, and it was immediately raining the first 5 minutes we got on the water. So I got drenched out in a kayak on a river. Didn't even get into water yet, to my ankles, and then I got drenched. So lost toenail, lost my glasses, and I lost me being dry. But all that being said, I want to go kayaking again. I had a lot more fun doing that than I thought I would. Something about just letting the world entertain me, in a sense of like having to traverse this river, was much more fun than I thought it would originally be.
We didn't do kayaking when I was growing up, but we did canoeing. So there was always two people to the canoe. And there is something to be said about getting on the water and getting away from every damn thing else and just being. You know, you're not trying to make anybody happy. You're not trying to make yourself happy. You're not trying to make anybody sad. You're just there.
Yeah.
And you're taking it all in. And it's something, and especially when, because we used to do what we would call overnight canoes. So we would canoe as far as we could for probably 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
Then we would find a sandbar somewhere, we'd anchor off, we'd pitch tents and stuff, and then the rest of the afternoon we would play and swim and cook and eat and have a campfire and talk crap. We get up the next morning, we'd go back
upstream.
And no, you always go against the stream day of and come back with the flow.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're going against the stream going up, then when you come back, you can let the stream pretty much take you. And you just have to guide.
Okay.
And it makes it a whole lot easier, especially on one day trips, like where you're going to go half a day this way and then come back. Because by the time you get to where you're going to be tired of shit. So you use the current to bring you back.
Yeah, true.
And it makes it a hell of a lot easier. But yeah, we would canoe probably 6 hours, anchor off, do our night thing, have a good time, have a fire, eat and all that stuff, and then the next day we load everything up, because by the time you load everything up, you're tired.
Yeah.
And then everybody jumps in. By that time, usually current's going pretty good, and whoever's at the back playing rudder, all they really got to do is guide, and you just drift back down.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and I it was me. I had more fun. It was just Oh no, I feel like I could focus just on floating down the river and me and my wife. It was just that was the nice comforting part. But of course, there was a couple of parts where people had houses on a lot on the side of the river because they were rich and they had the money to afford houses on a river. And then we went underneath the bridge. We saw some power lines that took us out of the moment. At one point, we hit a cornfield on one side. Like, what the frick, cornfield? Okay, I don't feel. And then another part, we heard some people do some construction. Like, God dang it! And I was just thinking, like, the moments where all I could see was woods, and just rocks. I could just be in that moment and be in that place and going. All I can see and think of is where I am right now, and it was nice to let my mind relax in that, knowing that all I could focus on because I got to get into this river. It's just the river, just floating down it with my wife. That there was nothing else I had to worry about because it was us getting down. Now my wife the entire time she was like, I don't know, are we there yet? Are we how long down the river? Are we going too far? She was like worried the entire time. I'm like, honey, be in the moment. Come on, be in the moment.
I'll tell you something else that's really fun that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to go tubing.
Mm.
So what we do is get big ass damn tractor tire tubes, right? Get them inflated, and there was always one person,
Yeah.
or a couple that wasn't going. But what you would do is you would have them drop you off.
Mm-hmm.
You would get in, and then they would drive your vehicle to the end of the line and park it.
Yeah.
And lock it up. And you'd make sure that you gave them the spare key and you had your key.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd get in their vehicle and they drive off. They'd have the spare key, but your stuff was locked up. And literally, you didn't do any paddling or anything. You literally got on your tube. And if you were wanting to keep your drinks cold or something like that, you used a rope and tied them to the side of your tube so it would be just in the water.
Yeah, just floating.
And you just got in the tube and the current took you.
Yeah.
And you got there when you got there. And you would, once you seen where everybody was, where vehicles were parked and stuff, you hopped out of your tube and grabbed it and swam over to the edge, put your stuff back in your truck, deflated your tube, and you went home. But we had figured out exactly where to put in that it literally took a day to drift to where the car was.
Yeah.
So we would pack lunch, drinks, water, all that stuff. And somebody would have the box that had the lunch. Somebody would have the box that had the drinks. And then somebody would have the box for the first aid kit in case something happened. Everybody would jump in their tubes and off you went. And because the current moved at the current's pace, you pretty much stayed together.
Yeah.
Because you're all moving at the same speed. And you just sat and you talked with your friends as you drifted down the river, and you were looking at nothing but woods and riverbanks, and occasionally you'd come across somebody, that was walking around in the woods with their dog, a kid playing or something like that, and they'd wave at you as you went by, and you just kept on going.
Yeah, that part was just the kept on going part. I did have fun parts where the water was a little bit more, speedy and sea and a little more rapid. That part was a lot of fun. I like that part the most. I wouldn't say I want to go and take advanced course or advanced river, the ones that have a lot more white water. But I definitely
the rapids. Yeah,
I definitely had more fun during those moments with the water. You could tell they're a little bit more picking up. The water might have been a little bit more shallow. There might have been little rocks here and there. Traversing the course that this ever-changing river, because they say the river changes pretty much every year. It's never the same because, things are falling down into it. Things are moving in the water. Certain areas are getting deeper. Certain areas are getting shallower. I just like the whole thing. I did it a long time ago when I was in RTC. We did kayaking or canoeing with my class, and I want to now at some point get us some kayaks ourselves, me and my wife, big enough for me and my dog. So I like to take my dog with us and just float down the river again. That was such a, at first, terrible experience. But after a while, I just didn't care, and I was just in the moment. And I think we don't have that much anymore, at least in me and my wife's personal life, where we can just be in the moment, just us two, and just us having only thing we had to worry about is getting from point A to point B and enjoying every bit along the way with no one else, no distractions, right? Only distractions is our own, it's us and on the river. Like that's like there's nothing out there we got to worry about. No time constraint. We don't worry
That
about
that is the very reason why we love to go scalloping now. Because you literally get on a boat, you go 9 to 10 miles out, you anchor off, you get in the water, and you float. And you find scallops or you don't. But while you're out there, you're floating, and your head's down looking in the water with your snorkel up, the world goes away.
Yeah.
You're just there, chilling, relaxing. If you want to get out and get on the boat long enough to get a drink or a snack, get out, you drink your drink, you drink your snack, you get back in the water.
Oh man, I saw some places you can kayak or in canoe in Florida. If I ever get a kayak and we go to Florida, that might be one of the trips because
dude, what I would
beautiful water.
There is a place called there's a place called Blue Springs. That if you had a kayak or canoe, I would love to take. Like you go up, and when you get up there, there's a big ass blue hole where an underground spring just pushes all this cold water up, right?
Yeah.
And all the way up to the blue hole, it's crystal clear. You can see all the way to the bottom. You can see fish, you see rocks, you see it all. You get hot. This water is a constant, like 60 degrees. So you get hot. You can just ease off into the water for a minute, cool off, hop back in, and keep on going.
Oh, sounds so nice. I like cold water.
I loved it when I was growing up. I don't have a kayak or a canoe. My uncle had a canoe when I was growing up. So that's how we did all that stuff. He was also a certified diver, so he would canoe all the way up there with his diving gear in the bottom of his canoe.
Yeah.
And he'd get there and he'd tie off and he would dive that freaking stream. And there ain't very many people that got to the bottom, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think in the entire time we went, only knew of 2 people that went down there, and one guy that went down there, he come back up with a pin or something somebody had dropped.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't go back down. He said, but you would be surprised at the rings, the pins, the coins, all kind of shit that's at the bottom of that thing where people have dropped it swimming and stuff. You know, he's like, it's littered.
Oh, that's kind of sad actually, but it was a good time. I like the water that is clear. I told my wife, like, I'm not afraid of water. I'm not afraid of water at all. I can swim it all day. Problem is I have water if I can't see the bottom of it because I don't know what's down there. That's me. I don't know. If I don't know, I don't like it.
Most rivers have dark water. I mean, that's just how it is. But my uncle, because he knew this area really well, he knew where like the Blue Springs was, where the Crystal River was. He knew where all the clear water was.
Yeah.
Because he spent a lot of damn time going places he probably shouldn't to find these damn things. And then when he got older, he found out the legal way to get to them so he could take the kids, you know?
Yeah.
But I am 100% positive that he didn't find his way to any of them in the legal way when he was a teenager.
Oh, I bet. And I even saw one video for a river you can float down. I don't know what's unplugging right now. I saw one river that apparently like it's a crystal clear river and people can float down it and they were like tubing down it. But it only had a sign on there like beware of alligators, and the people were asking like, would you float down it? Me, I'm going, yeah, I would. I can see it. I could clearly see the alligator. And if I was on a kayak, yes. Why would I? He's gonna bite the outer edge of the kayak. Woo! But otherwise, not down a tube. But yeah, it was like clear. Clear as could be. It was just crystal clear. I don't know why I was having a hard time saying crystal. So I had no problem with going to something like that. And that was in Florida. I'm like, God damn it. Why is everything far away from me?
I'm gonna send you an image right now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was on while you're doing that, I was on Facebook marketplaces. There's some people selling kayaks for like $100, some people selling them for $80, some for $200. So there's a smorgasbord of people selling their kayaks. So if anybody out there wants to try it out, I would recommend it. And if you ever get a chance,
this is just part of Blue Springs, but do you realize how clear that water is to be able to see that?
what are those? Is that okay? What are those?
Manatees.
Those are manatees, bruh. Yes, please.
There's a place in Florida, probably an hour from me, called Wakulla Springs. The water is that clear. You can swim there, and you can see manatees come up to the swim line.
Manatees are protected creatures, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I believe they're going extinct, or they are. I don't know. They are becoming. I don't know.
You think that's a lot of manatees here. Here you go.
Wait for the next one.
It's coming.
Wow, how deep is that water for them to be that? Okay, it has to be very deep because there's a lot of them. And manatees, as far as I know, are not small creatures.
I would say those are babies. So they're about as big as me and you.
Yeah, and they're stacked on top of each other. So that must be some very deep water.
It doesn't look as deep as it is, though.
No, it is not. It looks like it's very shallow.
It is crystal clear and is so cool.
I would float down that. Yep. If I saw that alligator, I would just go the opposite direction of it. You know, just I can clearly see it. Yeah, I want to go kayaking again, and I'm hoping tax season comes around and we can buy us like, you know, $80 or maybe $100 or $200 kayak, maybe big enough for me and my wife and maybe one or two of the dogs. We want to try out Nani first, our husky bulldog Nisk, and see if she does well in the water, because she's the biggest flight risk we got to worry about. Because if she jumps out or jumps off, it'll be really hard to get to her because she would just go. Of course, a leash and a life vest would be good, but
you put a leash on her and attach the leash to the kayak, and if she jumps out and takes off, you get a boost.
The only thing we don't have to worry about with ours is because we live in Alabama, we don't believe our rivers connect anywhere where alligators can get into it. So, and of course, the water's not very deep either. I can see mostly the bottom of it all the time, but it's not crystal clear. It's definitely more of a greenish, clear hue to it going on. Which I was not big. There's some people fishing on the river. I saw one fish in one of the water. It had to be like 10 inches long. I mean, I'm like, this boy, like, I stick my arm in, and he could get it up to my shoulders easily. I'm like, that's a good fish. But I wasn't there fishing. You know, apparently people kayak and fish on their kayaks all the time. And I'm like, okay.
I know a guy at work that when it comes the right time of the season to go fishing in certain places, his kayak never leaves the back of his boat. The back of his truck. He will leave work, drive straight to the nearest fucking place to put in, jump in it, paddle his little ass out there, drop him a little anchor where he's in the middle of the freaking, and he'll just sit there. You know, and you're just like,
there's some pretty fancy kayaks out there. Like, people put some money into these. Like, one dude was like standing on the literally on one of the corner edges, and he was just standing there, and then the kayak wasn't flipping over. I'm like, that's some buoyancy and balance in these kayaks. I'm like, that's impressive. I wouldn't want to stand up in my kayak. That when I was in, I was like just doing this. I'm like, I can flip over so easy right now. I'm pushing my luck just doing this. But I want to do it again, and it'd be definitely one of those things that I would take friends and family and just a simple thing. Of course, ours cost us around $90 between the renting of the kayaks and the of course getting the rights to float down the river. Because I don't know how you own a river, but I guess if you're a kayak company, you can get the rights to float down a river. I don't know how this works. It kind of confuses me how you own a river. My wife was like, "You can't own a river." Why they charging? I don't know, but
yeah, well, it's kind of like a road if you want to think about it that way. I mean, no one person owns a road, but we all pay taxes for it.
True.
You know, so.
And apparently we asked them like how the trees are falling in the water. Like, what we gotta do about the trees that fall in the water and they block the path? We just float down there with some chainsaws and cut them, like on the kayaks.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're like, we climb the trees if you have to, cut them, and then just float down the river some more and cut the next one. I'm like, I would not want to do that. I'm sorry, the kayaks are not balanced right. I wouldn't like, yeah, just no. I feel like I would drop it, or I would cut a limb off while doing it. So it was a lot of fun, and
I'm glad you had fun.
I want to do it more. It was just such a good time to have at the end of the day. My wife at the very end was not having fun because she was wearing these shitty flip flops that I told her not to wear. we got these flip flops from when we were going to the gym, and we don't want to use nice flip flops, and we're just taking showers at the gym, and you don't want to get athlete's foot, so you wear some cheap flip flops that she got from like Dollar Tree. And she was asking me if I was to wear mine. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing those things. Those things are cheaply made. I just knew they would be uncomfortable. She's having a hell of a time with her flip flops, just screaming at the end. At the end she was not having fun. So at the beginning I wasn't. At the end she wasn't.
Water shoes, man. Water shoes.
Yeah. It's every one of those things that you need to invest in. I feel like it's just like any kind of hobby. It wouldn't be just like, hey, just buy the bare minimum and then go out there and do it. Kind of like, right. Someone just saying, hey, I want to start go hunting, and I just buy me a bare minimum gun. You might not want to do that.
Well, it's like you seen. We went scalloping one time and realized we needed much better shit than the bare minimum that we went and got. So, I mean, we got a weight belt for stealthy. We both got us a set of fins. Both got us a snorkel that would close if water hit it, so we weren't drinking the ocean while we were out there. Got some better masks. If it's something that you enjoy, then you're more willing to invest that money in it. I looked up the other day, small, like 20-minute air tanks that can just hang right here.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a scuba license to use them as long as you don't go below X amount of feet deep, which is kind of cool because now I'm thinking, hey, if I had one of those, I could go down when I go after those scallops and I could stay down, 20 minutes. I could get a shitload of scallops in one go, and that would be cool. Yeah. I also went and found a trick of cleaning scallops with a shop vac.
Okay.
So you take a small shop vac and you pop the scallop open, and you just take the shop vac and go thunk over the top of all the stuff that's not what you want, and it just sucks it out. And
that's nice.
You're left with a pretty clean piece of meat that you can just take the knife and go put it in the bag.
Something to make the process easier.
So I bought a little 1.5 gallon shop vac, and that's what we're gonna use from now on to try to clean the scallops.
I think it's an investment, but it's an investment in your enjoyment and cleaning your mind. And I think that's a good thing. More people need to have hobbies that are outside the house. It sounds so weird, but I feel like too much of us nowadays are inside of our house, and there's a lot of...
I mean, and I like taking my GoPro with me, so because my GoPro is waterproof. So I can jump in the water, and especially if Stealthy's wearing her mask, because her mask has a GoPro mount right here built into it. So we jump in the water when we're scalloping. I mean, you could record the going down and getting the scallops and the stuff you see under the water and all that stuff.
When you're scalloping, are you ever worried about like the seaweed wrapping around your leg and keeping you under?
No.
Okay. So I've watched some horror things about people like going in water, getting things and getting like seaweed wrapped around the leg, around the arm,
well,
and
you're
then
not really in seaweed when you're scalloping in a bay. You're in what we would call sea grass.
Okay.
So, I mean, the grass is usually maybe this long, and they're pretty wide blades, so they don't just wrap around you.
Okay.
And it's not that bad, but you definitely either have to wear water shoes or some flippers when you do it, so that you don't step on a sea urchin.
Okay. I
'Cause
would
that sucks.
I would probably like just for safety measure bring like a knife that could like water resistance or some kind of knife to be able to
You just get a dive knife.
yeah, just in case something goes unwarranted underneath the water and I can reach for it. All right, so that's it for this week. I hope everybody had a good time. I would be guess waiting for the gentleman to show up here because apparently he's coming over here. I'm not going over there. Apparently, I thought I was going to his house. He's coming to mine. They'll do this Pathfinder thing. So I hope this will be another thing to do well. And if anybody wants me to do the Pathfinder stream, I'll ask if he's cool with that, and I can set up a thing. Because I have 3 web cameras now, thanks to you, and like my rear camera, so I could do like a freaking whole streaming setup if you let me. Only I don't have is a multitude of mics.
All you really need is one good mic that you can kind of boon over the table.
Yeah.
And I mean, but yeah, if he wants to do it, I think we'd be interested in seeing it. But that again, you would have to ask him about that.
Yeah. I would like to do it because I think it's be fun, and I don't have to like. I feel like games like real quick. I feel like if I did something like that, I wouldn't have to focus on the stream and being entertaining. I would just have to focus on playing the game and just being entertained by the game and letting my natural goofiness shine through.
That's kind of the premise behind when me and Stealthy set up the card table that time and was playing Uno and stuff with the kids. Wasn't focusing on stream. We were just focusing on the game. And the nice thing about something like Uno or a simple board game is you can literally make one of the players the stream. You can have them say what they want to do. Like you could say, all right, guys, we're gonna roll. All right, so you got this. What do you want to do? And you can have them chime in and be interactive with it, but you don't have to either. You could just play Uno and have a ball, and they can see the fun, or you can play whatever.
Yeah, I just like the idea of playing D&D. I never really played the entire campaign. I played that one short campaign a long time ago that didn't really pan out that great, but it wasn't a bad enough experience for me to shut it away. Of course, I had to like it because I'm printing my own dice, which, speaking of prints, tell me about the model when you think about it, when you get done with it. And I will see y'all hopefully next week. No stream tonight because the gentleman's coming over, so I'm going to be busy doing that. And then next week, I believe we're actually going to be doing it at his place. With everybody else. So I don't know what day we're gonna be what times it's gonna be at. So we're just gonna be busy with that next week as well. And if he lets me stream it, oh well. But if he doesn't, I hope you're okay with it. I will get back to streaming on my normal channel, Grippy Bear. Link down below. As soon as I am mentally prepared, I told Corvo at the beginning, I'm not gonna start streaming again until I want to start streaming again. Until I have the creative want and desire to do it, and until I want to do it, I'm not. I want to do this because I enjoy Corvo's company, and I enjoy this more chilled out format. I normally am a little more energetic than I can, but I know I can't. I don't have to be on this. Well, I don't have to be the other one. I want to be. I just feel like I don't have to worry about being entertaining all the time. Corvo can do the work for me.
I mean, like being sugar daddy, apparently. I mean, whatever the hell that means.
I've never thought about that though.
Dude, rest, chill, get yourself back in the right headspace. You know where I'm at, and we don't have to do this for you to call me.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll see y'all next week. I'm going to go ask my wife what the heck this is. She kind of just came here, flopped it down. But I'll see y'all later. And as always, have a good day, have a good night, and please have a good life.
Bye, guys.
Much love, y'all. Bye. 1, 2,